Hello, and welcome to another edition of All or None According to Jack, with your host, Jack Toledano. Uh, so it's been a while since I mentioned having my giving to you my top 15 hard rock bands, which I did, I think back in, what was it, mid-June or July. And then I also mentioned that I was going to give you my top 15 metal bands. So here goes. Top 15 metal, Jack Toledano's top 15 metal bands. So we're going to start and we're going to go to the PowerPoint. All right. So top 15 metal bands. So who is first? Or rather, who is number 15? And I, at the risk of, not having any other good metal background, I chose this metal background with basically just riveted steel. So here goes. Number 15. Oh, doesn't want to cooperate. Megadeth. So Megadeth, my number 15. Songs like favorite songs of Megadeth, Symphony of Destruction, Sweating Bullets, Peace Cells, Hangar 18. I didn't always like Megadeth, but they grew on me, partially thanks to XM Radio 38, Ozzy's Boneyard, playing songs such as those. Kind of warmed Dave Mustaine to me a little bit. So there's your number 15. So my number, and I did see Megadeth 2 times. Once opening for Priest in 1990, and then was it 2005 or 2006 at the at Gigantor. Megadeth sharing the headlining stage with Dream Theater, and seeing a few other great bands that day. So there's that. So my number 14, Motorhead, Lemmy Kilmister, Ace of Spades, Hellraiser, excellent, excellent tune. Born to Raise Hell, Overkill. What more can I say? Lemmy always said that we're not a metal band, we're just a rock and roll band. More of a speed metal rock and roll band, but okay. Saw them in 2008, opened for Priest, and also on that bill was Heaven and Hell, I believe. So that's my number 14. Number 13, I also saw this band open for Priest a few years ago. Saxon. Actually, that was the only time I saw them. What have we got? Denim and Leather. The band played on Strong Arm of the Law. Uh, Dallas 1 p.m., other great songs. Wheels of Steel. So that's Saxon. Great vocals of Biff Byford. They were at the forefront of the new wave of British metal. So number 13, Saxon. Number 12, a band that I recently got into. I thank Mr. Pete Pardo for giving me the assignment to work with him on this to do a top 10 of Metal Church. Great, great band. Songs that I like: Over My Dead Body, Badlands, Metal Church, Method to Your Madness. They've had a few different singers, but never disappointed. Number 11, Ronnie James Dio. Rainbow in the Dark, Holy Diver, Stand Up and Shout. Of course, you can't forget what he did with Rainbow and what he did with Black Sabbath for those 2 albums in the early 80s. Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules. So Ronnie James Dio, Mr. Golden Throat, I have always called him. Number 10, Metallica. Granted, they kind of laid an egg after the Black Album in the early 90s, but there's no denying what they did in the 80s. Great, great band. Master of Puppets, not only the song, but that whole album. Song 1 off of Injustice for All. Creeping Death, Ride the Lightning, that album as well. Amazing. Too bad they didn't, how would you say I wouldn't exactly say they sold out, but they changed their style, and not for the better, I think. What you need to do is just give us at least one more great old school Metallica album. Here's hoping. Number 9. So when Metallica faltered, this band stepped in and filled the void for me for a good long while. Iced freaking Earth. Something Wicked trilogy. Pure Evil. Angels Holocaust. Desert Rain. That big album, I forget the name of it, with where they talk about what war was that? The Civil War. I know John Schaefer was a big Civil War buff, but let me tell you, when they had Matt Barlow for those few years, they were killer. Number 8, Manowar. Another band that I got into more recently. I really didn't know them in the 80s, but you know what? They grew on me over the years. I picked up one of their albums at a flea market down at one of the Long Island Railroad stations on the South Shore. The album was called Kings of Metal, I believe. So yeah, hence the song, Metal Warriors, Hail and Kill, Return of the Warlord, Blood of the Kings, the that song about the Cherokee horse. Awesome. Sword and sorcery at its best. Number 7, ACDC. It was said in my comments that some people don't really consider them metal, but I disagree. I think they are a metal band, and they helped push metal to the forefront and make it popular on radio. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. You Shook Me All Night Long, Hell's Bells, Whole Lotta Rosie, Highway to Hell. Doesn't get any better than that. And they don't sell out. You know what you're going to get when you buy an AC/DC album. Number 6, more sword and sorcery, but this time from Sweden. Hammerfall. Love these guys. I talk about my metal renaissance in the late 90s, where metal made a comeback in a big way for me. What can you say? Let the Hammer Fall, Hearts on Fire, Crimson Thunder, Fury of the Wild. They kick ass, and they have great vocals to boot, thanks to Joachim Cans. Number 5, another band from that late 90s renaissance that I talk about. Primal Fear. Eye of an Eagle, Chainbreaker, Strike, Unbreakable. And the list goes on and on. Their first 3 albums, absolutely killer. That and Unbreakable. Their most recent album, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but great, still a great album. Okay, number 4. Continuing on with this metal renaissance of the late 90s, Symphony X. To me, prog metal at its finest. And what better album than Iconoclast? Song and the album. Of course, there's Symphony X5, the Mythology Suite, which is a little more prog than metal, but Divine Wings of Tragedy. The Odyssey, Twilight and Olympus. All great albums. Go check them out if you haven't. You will not be disappointed. Okay. Top three. I think you know where I'm going. Iron Maiden. What can I say? They among the best, not just for me, but for everybody. Number of the Beast, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Aces High, Wrathchild, Book of Souls, the album and the song. You know, they were excellent with Bruce. They weren't too shabby with, I'm sorry, what's his name? Killing me. I'm forgetting his name, but we'll get back to it. Number two, Accept. There we go. Accept. Two singers that I do know, Udo and Mark Tornillo. Dying Breed, Teutonic Terror, Metal Heart, Stalingrad. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Which brings me to my number one. I think you all knew that. Judas Priest, Tyrant, Victim of Changes, Beyond the Realms of Death, Exciter, Painkiller. So those are my 15 top metal bands in that order. Megadeth, Motorhead, Saxon, Metal Church, Dio, Metallica, Iced Earth, Manowar, ACDC, Hammerfall, Primal Fear, Symphony X, Iron Maiden, Accept, and of course, Judas Priest. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Let's go back and just reshare. Okay, so going back to Iron Maiden, Paul Di'Anno's his name. How did I not think of that? You know, when you're doing a live recording, you try to have all the right notes and, you know, the things to prompt you what to say, but unfortunately, sometimes they slip through the cracks, and I apologize for that. So you had Paul Di'Anno, Bruce Dickinson. Paul Di'Anno started out first two albums, you know, very promising. I think they really hit their stride with that very first album with Bruce Dickinson, and took off from there, and they're just amazing. So that's again my top 15, and I think we can stop sharing once and for all. This is Jack Toledano. If you like what I do, please subscribe. Please tell your friends to go and subscribe. You'd really be helping me out. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you for all your support and, you know, writing your comments in the comments section. I do appreciate it. You all have a good night. Ciao.